Good morning everyone, I'm Tom at Ledgemere Farm here in southern Maine. Today is day 2 of Farmall Tractor Week, and behind me is a 1953 Farmall SuperC. This is the second oldest tractor that I have. Farmall SuperC was introduced in 1951 to replace the aging Farmall C, and in 1951 when this tractor came out, this tractor produced 24.5 horsepower or so, which replaced the earlier 20 horsepower C. Farmall C was about 20 horsepower. It had a smaller C113 engine. This has the C123 and about 25 horsepower, 24.67 or something like that. And with this bigger engine, International introduced a water pump and a taller radiator. So you'll notice if you would park a C and a Super C side by side, one of the easiest ways to tell is one, the Super C sits taller and there's a bigger gap in between the touch control unit right there and the fuel tank right there. And the second thing was in 51, Farmall came out with disc brakes. So instead of a straight brake pedal, you'll see it has a curve to it, and also you can see right there on the brakes it's a circle, and that has disc brakes on it. Interestingly, that brake unit also ran the planter drive unit, so I actually have it as a set of cogs with a trip on it, and it has a chain that would run the planter unit off the tractor. And so in 1953, Farmall introduced the fast hitch, and one of the greatest things about the fast hitch was it was International's large tractor response to Ferguson's 1939 three-point hitch. Earlier in I think 48, Farmall had the Super A and the C, which had the in 1953, International Harvester introduced this device, which is called the fast hitch, and it was introduced with the model Super C for the 1953 year. And this was to kind of combat the Ford three-point hitch system that had been in place for about 15 years at that point. With this system, it has 2 sockets on it, one on each side, and all the implements that International designed had a prong on each side that was designed to slide into this receiver. And one of the great things about this system is that you can change the angle and pitch, and by what I mean by that is you can adjust it side to side and front to back. And so that's really handy when you're trying to hook onto an implement that's not really level. You just change it a little bit, you back in, and then this clicks automatically. Also, it allows you, when you have your sickle mower on it, you can pick the shoe up off the ground a little higher, and it allows you to carry your mower higher off the ground. The fast hitch came with a cylinder, and it was touted as a remote cylinder, so you could get an extra set of hoses to take this cylinder off, and there was a block that went in place here, and you could put this on, say, a drag disc to close and open the disc to go through a ditch or something. And you could hook it on a plow to remotely raise and lower the plow. Also, there's a pin that goes in here, so you could put the drawbar on and raise one wheel or the other to set your width of your rear wheels. Interestingly, this tractor had several options that were available at the time. One was this light, which has a clear and red, or amber they called it, lens. So when you were traveling home at night, you could turn this little knob and it would make the red light come on so people could see you. International, with the Farmall series in 1939, painted all their tractors red. Initially they were gray, and the thought process behind making it red was to make it more visible on the road so people would see the tractors. This tractor also has the optional belt pulley attachment, and unlike the Cub, the Farmall Super C belt pulley allows you to use the PTO, the 540 PTO at the same time. Farmall Super C has the standard 540 RPM PTO on it, so you can run all the modern 3-point PTO driven or not 3-point PTO driven implements. This right here is an aftermarket 3-point adapter. International did make one at the same time as the SuperC, so that you could adapt all of Fordson's attachments to the SuperC. Fenders were optional. The seat does not have the high or the Easy Rider flip-up seat like my 200 does. It's just a regular seat with the Monroe Easy Rider shock on it, but it was adjustable forward and aft. Rear wheel weights were optional, as were front weights. The muffler, believe it or not, was an optional attachment for this tractor. Everything was 6-volt positive ground, and so your lights, starter, generator, everything 6 volts. This tractor has the optional adjustable front wheels, so you could take this right here and flip it, and this would give you a wider, probably about 8 inches more width between the two tires, and that's just to drive over a bed. Sometimes the farmers had a bed in the middle, so this would ride over that. One of the other options you could get was the wide front, so if you had a big bed, you'd straddle the bed with the back wheels, and then you would correlate the wide front end to be in the same track as the rear wheels. And I do have a wide front, but I like the way the narrow fronts steer, and it's easier to work with like a mower or a tedder or a rake in the field with a narrow front. And finally, it's a lot easier to store these tractors with a narrow front because I can park one front to back pretty easily. The SuperC had a pressurized lubrication system, distributor drive. They did not have the magneto drive like the C did. Also, it had the hood because it had a water pump in it, which is on the other side. And so this right here is the auxiliary hydraulic unit right here. It's for the fast hitch or for the remote cylinder. And this tractor, even though this one has it, you could still order the tractor throughout its whole series without the fast hitch on it. You could just forego that option. This rim right here, and it's essentially junk. I'm sure it could be saved, I guess, because it could be hammered out, but this is the standard rim that was offered with the Farmall SuperC and the 200. These were non-adjustable rims, and so the way that this set is the wheel went into this groove here, and then there's these little clips. They're about this long and about this thick with a hole in the middle, and so you would clamp the wheel onto this part right here. And so this is what they call the non-adjustable rim. It's a one-way non-adjustable. It only went one way on the tractor, and this was the standard wheel that came with it. This SuperC behind me has been in my family since 1977. My brother bought it from the dealership, the original dealership where it was bought brand new in 1953. And the original owner lived in the next town over here. He had a dairy farm, and he traded that in for like a 484 or something, one of those low slung internationals in about 1977 or 76. And so I grew up around this tractor here. I spent a lot of time on it with my dad and my brother. And my dad's passed, and my brother's got cancer, so that's why it's here instead of still at my brother's house. The chemo's kind of put him in a point where he can't really get up on it safely anymore. So we want to keep it in the family, and it gets a lot of care here. It's right now it's getting its fluids changed. I used it to spread lime in the fields here a couple days ago, and so it's kind of a special tractor. It's like I said, I guess I'm the third owner of it. I have the original manual for it, and I know its history. I know where it came from. It's lived in town or the next town over its entire life. It was shipped from Chicago. It was built in Chicago, Illinois as a 1953 model. It went to E.C. Ricker and Sons International Harvester dealership in Alfred, Maine, and then it went to Leamington, Maine until 1976 76 or 77 when it went back to EC Rickers and Alfred, and then my brother bought it and it went back and it came to Limerick then. It's been here ever since, and he lives about 2 miles from me, so this tractor really hasn't been with, other than going back to the dealership that one time, it's really been within 5 miles of where it originally was sold to. And it's a good tractor. It's had some work done to it. The engine was rebuilt just before my brother bought it in 77 by the dealership. Everything's original on it except for the steering wheel and the seat. Obviously the tires are new. My brother mowed beside the road with it for a number of years until he got a 140, and he obviously hauled wood with it, and he had a few Hereford cows, so he cut and raked, and he had a little New Holland baler that he ran with it before he got a bigger tractor. So it's been a good tractor. It's been in the family, and that's the story of this 1953 Super C. Tune in tomorrow. We've got day 3 of Farmall Tractor Week, and hope to see you then. Thanks for watching.